Yeah, I feel like I'm a rock star right now with the band, with the instruments. I'm Marcus Bullock. I'm the CEO and founder of Sxsw. And Carl's right. You know, I think this conversation is going to be interesting because a lot of us have very interesting stories around where we came from and how we've gotten to places now where we're able to sit on this stage. I like to start my journey back in my old neighborhood right outside of Washington, D.C., where I grew up with my mom, who was a minister in the church. I was one of those kids who went to church every single day, like not just on Sunday. I was in church Monday night, prayer meeting Tuesday night, Bible study Wednesday night, Sunday school. It was every choir rehearsal, youth night, every night. It was we grew up in church, but it was interesting because we also didn't live in one of the better neighborhoods in DC. I grew up when DC was the murder capital of the world, of the country, and every time I would walk out of my apartment complex, I would see people that were standing in front of my building doing hand-in-hand with any of the persons. Didn't know what they were selling, but I knew they were selling something because Big Mike always had a Benz. Mind you, my mother had a Ford Escort, and I'm like, Mom, Big Mike figured it out, and clearly you didn't, so you need to get on what Big Mike was doing. I was so enamored with his success is that I wanted to figure out how to be able to get the same success. So I jumped straight into the drug game right when I was about 13 years old. A few weeks after I jumped in the drug game, I was kidnapped at gunpoint. And as I was thrown in the back of a car, eventually I was let go. But when I was let go from my kidnappers, I told myself I would never be caught around my neighborhood without a gun ever again. From that point forward, I always carried a gun as a 13-year-old kid. Whether or not I was going to school, I would hide it in front of the bushes right out front of the school. Whether or not I was even going to church, right behind the church. And I grew up knowing that God was my Lord, that Jesus was my Lord and Savior, but I was also nervous about the area where I lived in, and I felt disconnected for a bit. Interestingly enough, one day when I was carrying one of those pistols, I ended up carjacking a man in a shopping mall parking lot with my best friend. At this time, I was 15 years old, and we were arrested for that carjacking the very next day. When we were arrested for the carjacking, I was certified as an adult, and I stood before a judge as I listened to him sentence me to 8 years in adult maximum security prisons. I grew up spending my 16th birthday, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd birthdays, all growing up in some of the worst prisons in the state of Virginia, and it was the hardest time of my life. That same mom that I grew up in a home with, she wanted to figure out how to be able to support me during that journey, and she made a promise to me in the prison visiting room. My mom promised to write me a letter or send me a picture every day for the remaining 7 years of my prison sentence until I came home, and my mom kept me alive with her loving messages. It saved my life, and it allowed for me to be able to come home and want to figure out how to navigate this new world that was before me that I hadn't any idea how I was going to live inside of it. When I finally was able to begin to integrate myself back in with a job and working with my family, eventually I landed on an idea to be able to start a business that will allow for other family members to be able to connect with their incarcerated loved ones the same way that my mom did for me. And we built the mobile app Sxsw. Sxsw is the tool that allows family members the ability to take a picture, add some quick text, press send, and for as low as 79 cents, we send that picture and text on a printed postcard to any person in any prison, anywhere in the country. Thank you so much. We've been blessed now to connect over 180,000 families around the country. And now the tech company that I built in Startup World is the ministry that I use in order to be able to talk about not only the love that Christ had for us, but the love that my mom had for me, and the love that our community should have for one another. And now I'm grateful to be able to wear my faith openly on my sleeve as the CEO of one of the most impactful apps inside of the App Store.
All right.